Hello everyone, this is Elvis. Today our group will lead you to understand the impact of historical activities on Pierre-Joseph Rigaud. We will describe the relationship from the following four experts. Some information of him, Age of Enlightenment and the French Revolution. And then summarize some other influence. He has been considered the most famous botanic painter in the world, and many of his work hang in palaces and museums. He was the official court painter to Queen Marie Antoinette and Empress Josephine of France. Born in Belgium in 1759, Rigaud was blessed with exceptional artistic talent. At the age of 13, Rigaud left home and worked as an interior director and a commission painter. It was during this time that Rigaud became acquainted with the work of Dutch flower painter Virgil Rage, behind them under him. He was so captivated with their paintings that this became the direction of his talent for the rest of his life. In 1782, Rigaud moved to Paris, where his brother lived and was introduced to the botanics book lover Charles Louis Le Heritier and Breuil, who gradually influenced Rigaud's work and life thereafter. Over his long career, Rigaud painted the gardens at the Puritorium of Queen Marie Antoinette as her official court artist. It was during the Revolution and the Reign of Terror that he was appointed to document the gardens, which became the national property. While Napoleon was in battle, Josephine bought a property called Meurice. The property included a small park, some horticultural land, and vineyards. Josephine's great love was the rose, and he set out to grow every variety in existence, and even had the gardeners creating new harvests. The rose garden at Meurice had over 250 varieties. During this time, Rigaud began work on what would be his most famous work, the roses. His roses are perhaps his most celebrated images, which the artist ensured while under the patronage of Empress Josephine, wife of Napoleon.
Hi guys, I'm Terrace. So I'm going to talk about the Age of Enlightenment. The Age of Enlightenment was an intellectual and philosophical movement that dominated the world of ideas in Europe during the 18th century, the century of philosophy. French historians traditionally date the Enlightenment from 1715 to 1789, from the beginning of the reign of Louis XV until the French Revolution. The Enlightenment also was known as the Age of Reason. The key figures of the movement sought to reform society using the power of reason. Started by the preeminent philosophers of the day, the Enlightenment era promoted science, reason, and intellectual exchange. The idea of advancing knowledge through reason emerged in response to new technology and the ability to exchange information easily thanks to mass printing, and also out of a backlash against previous systems, which valued the church and tradition above all else. So I'm going to talk about a little bit art. The art produced during the Enlightenment was about a search for morality that was absent from previous art. People took inspiration from it and revived the classical art into neoclassical art. This can be especially seen in early American art, where throughout their art and architecture, they used arches, godness, and other classical architecture design. Since I mentioned neoclassical art, The neoclassical style is characterized by clarity of form, sober colors, shallow space, and strong horizontals. Neoclassicists believe that strong drawing was rational and therefore morally superior. They wanted to express rationality and sobriety that was fitting for their times. In the wake of revolution, Pivot, taught by his instructor about how to dissect flowers and portray their specific characteristics precisely, was already a prominent figure. The richness and diversity of his flowers, as well as the use of elements, are references to the old contemporary works. However, the restrained and slightly cold tone of this work tended to neoclassicism in its temperament.
Hi, I'm Mabel. Next, I will talk about French Revolution that the artist experienced. This includes several parts. The French Revolution broke out in France on July 14, 1789. The Bourbon dynasty that ruled France for centuries and its monarch fell apart within 3 years, directly referring to the power of the king. France experienced an epic change during this period. The past aristocracy and religious privileges continued to be affected by liberal political organizations. The old ideas were gradually competitive with new talents and were replaced by democratic ideas such as the separation of powers. After the French Revolution, Napoleon lost in the Battle of Waterloo. Louis XVIII restored the Bourbon dynasty, restored some of the king's rights, and established a constitutional monarchy. French Revolution reveals the blue, white, and red national flags of freedom, equality, and fraternity that have remained in France for a long time, and became the cultural heritage left by the French Revolution to the world. Since the Third Republic of France, France has held a large-scale military parade in Paris on July 14th every year. As a sequence of the French Revolution, it completely overthrew the French federal autocracy. Next, I'm going to talk a little about the French Revolution's influence on the artist. After several political crises in his life, Pierre-Joseph Rieu survived under different political systems. Before the French Revolution, he painted plants as a court painter in a small Tyrian palace in Josephine. During the French Revolution, he was appointed to the formal Royal Botanic Garden staff to use the brush to record gardens that had become public property. The new aristocrats were tired of the surge in revolutionary austerity, and he continued to prosper and began to lean toward Bonaparte's rising star. In 1798, Napoleon Bonaparte's first wife, Empire Josephine Beauharnais, became his patron. A few years later, he became her official painter. Under the patronage of Queen Josephine's generosity, his career flourished, and his most comprehensive collection of plant paintings was published worldwide and was exported to Japan, South Africa, Australia, Europe, and America. He collaborated with the greatest botanists of his time and participated in the plant illustration design of nearly 50 publications.
Hello everyone, I'm Brittany. Today I want to talk about the influence of the Age of Enlightenment and the French Revolution. The Age of Enlightenment advocated freedom and equality, which first prepared the French Revolution. The Age of Enlightenment promoted the ideas of natural rights, separation of power, and the consciousness of law, which promoted the political reform in the United States and also encouraged a young group of young people in modern China to fight for social transformation. At the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century, a group of Enlightenment relative translation book appeared in China, influenced by these ideas. Wushu reform come into being. In Wushu reform, people were advocated to learn from the West countries, which includes studying science, reform the political and educational system, and develop commercial and architectural culture. The reform movement of the 1898 is an important political reform, also called Wushu reform, in China's modern history. The Xinhai Revolution, which took place 1911 The basic spirit of this constitution is endowed with human rights, separation of power, freedom, equality, and the rule of law, which is similar with the ideas in the Age of Enlightenment. Locke developed the social contract theory, and Jefferson used these words to support America's new commitment to life, liberty, and the pursuit of their happiness. On the basis of Locke's decentralization theory, Montesquieu put forward his theory of checks and balance, including the political freedom was established through the separation of legislative power, superlative power, and executive power. At the same time, the separation of religions and politicals in the United States is seen as the important chapter of individual freedom. The struggle for freedom of